My name is Nancy. I'm a 30-year-old office worker, and I work in sales at a major life insurance company. My family consists of my husband, Justin, who is the same age as me. We've been childhood friends. Our houses faced each other, so we always went to school together, played together, and spent time together from nursery school until the summer vacation of our first year in junior high. Justin was always clumsy and forgetful. He used to attend morning soccer practices for his team, and he would often forget his lunch or homework. His mother would then ask me,
"I'm sorry to bother you, but could you please deliver these items to him?"
And I would respond, "You must have your hands full." I used to deliver Justin's items, but he never seemed remorseful about it.
Sorry. I just get up so early, so I forget sometimes.
He didn't seem to care at all. Seriously, get it together. I tried to warn him many times, but there was no improvement. Justin's carelessness was ingrained. When I moved during our first year of junior high, everyone from his family came to see us off, but Justin overslept. He slept soundly with the door locked. In the end, Justin and I parted ways without even seeing each other. 10 years later, we reunited at our elementary school reunion. I was surprised when I saw Justin. When we were kids, his hair was always messy, and his clothes were casual. But now, he was impeccably dressed in a suit, with neatly groomed hair and beard. He had transformed into a very handsome man.
You're Nancy, right? Do you remember me?
Of course, I remember you. How could I forget? Justin then told me that he had spent his junior high and high school years in our hometown and had gone to college in the city. He was working as a municipal employee after graduating. I was truly amazed by how much Justin had changed. At the gathering, he was attentive to everyone, taking the lead in ordering and sharing dishes. He even took care of drunken classmates, bought medicine for them, and was really proactive. We caught up with each other, exchanged contact information with some of our former classmates, and among them was Justin. Afterwards, we hung out with our friends several times, such as going out for meals and activities, and my interaction with Justin was revived. Eventually, we started going out for dinner or drinks after work, just the two of us. About a year later, Justin suddenly mentioned that he had broken up with his girlfriend.
I broke up with my girlfriend.
Why?
We just weren't compatible. There were some differences in personalities and I had been feeling it for a while.
On the way home that day, Justin said,
I realized that you're the only one who understands me, Nancy. Would you consider dating me with marriage in mind? I think we could make it work.
I brushed off his drunken banter as a joke at the moment. However, Justin later asked me directly,
Can you give me an answer to my suggestion?
I had thought it was just drunken banter, so I was genuinely surprised when I heard him say that. Wait, you were serious? I asked, and Justin replied,
I wouldn't joke about something like that.
With Justin's words in mind, I asked for some time to think about it on the spot. Later, I decided to give Justin an answer. At the time, I didn't have a partner, but if I were to date someone, I considered it with the intention of marriage. Therefore, I approved of dating Justin because we have known the strength and weakness from childhood, had our parents acquainted with each other, and I judged that Justin and I could make it work if we were married. We promptly informed our respective parents about our relationship. When my parents saw Justin, they were surprised since they hadn't seen him in a while. That Justin has become quite impressive. And Justin's parents said,
Nancy, You've really become beautiful.
And were welcoming us warmly. Our relationship progressed smoothly, and 2 years later, we got married. Blessed and congratulated by everyone, I felt like a truly happy bride.
Let's continue supporting each other from now on.
Likewise, let's take care of each other. However, my married life was the pinnacle of happiness that day. After getting married, I was dismayed by Justin's lack of tidiness. Firstly, he was someone who never cleaned up by herself. He wouldn't clear away dishes after eating, let the dirty dishes pile up, and it was normal for him not to take out the trash. Of course, he had never bothered with separating the trash at all. When I asked him how he managed when he lived alone, he mentioned that he usually bought ready-made meals from convenience stores or supermarkets, or just dined out, so there was no need for washing up. Furthermore, when he lived in his previous apartment, he apparently considered almost everything as burnable trash except for obviously non-combustible items like cans or bottles, and he hardly ever bothered to sort the trash. Thinking that if we did it together, it might make things easier. So I suggested to Justin, "Why don't we do it together?" Yet, he simply refused, saying,
"I'm too busy to do that, and whoever can do it should just do it."
In response, I prepared several trash bins for easy disposal and attached lists of what could and couldn't go into each bin. However, Justin ignored the lists and threw everything into one bin. No matter how much I reminded him, he dismissed it as too much hassle. Moreover, Justin had a terrible habit of oversleeping. In his previous apartment, he used to give a spare key to his ex-girlfriend, who lived in the same building, so she could wake him up in the mornings. Every morning, I would desperately try to wake Justin up. "Wake up. You're going to be late." However, he would just pull the covers over his head and say,
"Just 5 more minutes."
He just refused to get up. Eventually, he would wake up at the last minute every day and then blame me, saying,
"Why didn't you wake me up?"
The situation became tense every morning, with me responding, "I did wake you up, but you just wouldn't get out of bed." As a result, every day started off with an uneasy atmosphere. Our living expenses were divided such that Justin covered the rent and utilities, while I took care of groceries and other incidental expenses. However, Justin often forgot to deposit money into the account for automatic withdrawals, resulting in bills not being paid on time. As a consequence, electricity and gas were disconnected multiple times because the bills were not paid on the due dates. While Justin was supposed to monitor the bills that were addressed to him, I rarely saw them, and it was only when I noticed the services being cut off that I hurriedly contacted the utility companies to inquire about payment details and made the transfers countless times. You need to do something about your careless nature. Our lives can't go on like this. Whenever I expressed my anger saying, Justin would retort,
"There's nothing I can do about it. You know I'm forgetful, so you should cover for me."
Justin's defensive reactions led to numerous arguments. Around 2 years into our marriage, our apartment, which we had been living in, was scheduled for demolition due to its aging condition. Consequently, we started searching for a new place to live. Since affordable options were scarce, we decided to take the bold step of building a new house. However, I laid down one condition during this process. The house would be in my name, and I would be responsible for the mortgage. While Justin's income could support the mortgage, I couldn't risk the possibility of him forgetting to make the payments. With that in mind, I offered to take out the loan myself. There were no issues since my annual income was about the same as Justin's, and I passed the pre-approval process without any troubles. Justin remarked.
I tend to forget things, so this helps me out.
He agreed to my proposal of me taking out the loan and having the house in my name. In exchange for me paying the mortgage, he agreed to contribute half of what I had been covering for groceries and entertainment expenses. We ended up building a single-family house in the suburbs, which accommodated both Justin's desire for a spacious yard suitable for a dog and my preference for an open-style kitchen. To repay the loan, I started working tirelessly, often staying late for overtime and spending long days on sales calls. Furthermore, as I also desired to have children, I needed to save money as well. Therefore, in addition to paying off the loan, I focused on frugality to build up savings for the future while working hard to achieve our goals. However, Justin was different. Despite my efforts to present a concrete financial plan for our future, emphasizing the expenses involved in raising children, he disregarded my concerns, saying,
You can't predict things that are far ahead. Just go with the flow.
Furthermore, around this time, he started suggesting,
Since you're paying off the loan and still managing to save, you must have some extra cash, right? Do I really need to contribute to living expenses? I mean, you've been covering the groceries and entertainment expenses ever since you took out the loan. But I don't think I need to do that anymore. I want to buy what I want and go out like I used to when I was single.
And he practically stopped contributing to household expenses. Eventually, I ended up covering utilities as well, while Justin allocated all his earnings for his personal spending. He indulged in expensive golf sets and even bought a large SUV despite being a novice driver. Despite my repeated pleas to stop these unnecessary expenses, he ignored my requests. As these incidents accumulated, my affection dwindled rapidly, yet I still didn't consider divorce as an option. One day, I received a message from a mutual friend.
Lately, I've been seeing your husband a lot in the nightlife district. And he's always with a young girl. Is everything okay?
At first, I replied, wondering if Justin was just taking women from bars. But then, she responded, saying she had seen him walking around with the girl during daylight hours on a weekend. Thinking it was a lie, my friend sent a photo as a piece of evidence to me. It was taken at a local autumn festival, showing her children eating local foods they bought from a food stall. But what shocked me was seeing Justin behind them, sitting with an unfamiliar woman, happily drinking beer and getting cozy. What is this? This is unbelievable. I thought, feeling like my world was collapsing. The day my friend went to the autumn festival with her children, Justin claimed he was out for a business golf outing. Despite working desperately every day and even putting in overtime on weekends, Justin wouldn't contribute to household expenses and would spend his weekends golfing or socializing with friends, ultimately engaging in affairs with other women. I was shocked, but I couldn't bring myself to divorce Justin when faced with reality. At the end of that year, my cousin was planning to visit, so I decided to return to my parents' home alone for the holidays. My husband claimed he was too busy with work to accompany me. By this time, my relationship with Justin had grown extremely cold. We hardly made eye contact or spoke to each other. In fact, we had a major fight over household expenses again around Christmas. During that argument, he threw a signed divorce paper at me, saying,
I should have never married you, you nagging woman.
Despite feeling upset, I managed to enjoy my time at my parents' house over the holidays. When the new year arrived, I returned home. However, another unexpected incident awaited me there. I was startled as soon as I entered the house. At the entrance, there were bright red high heels that didn't belong to me. I wondered if I had a visitor, but upon entering the living room, there was no one there. Feeling uneasy, I proceeded to my bedroom to unpack my things. "Who are you?" I couldn't help but shout as I entered the room. There was an unfamiliar woman in pajamas lying in my bed. Startled by my voice, she suddenly woke up and said,
"Huh? Who are you?"
"Who are you and what are you doing here?" I demanded. In response to my question, the woman glared at me and retorted,
"Who are you, anyway?"
I suddenly remembered her face from the photo my friend had sent me. "This is my house, actually," I said. But she insisted.
"What? This is my Justin's house. Are you some kind of thief?"
Her accusation startled me. When I was to inquire about where my husband was, the bedroom door opened, and my husband walked in.
Huh? What are you doing here?
Justin's face turned pale as he looked at me, so I confirmed my suspicions that they had been having an affair in our home. The intense feeling of disgust led me to instinctively reject my husband. "Who are you?" I coldly addressed Justin, and the woman interrogated him.
"What is going on?"
But I responded to her with firmness. "This is my home, and this man is a stranger. Obviously, you are not someone I know either, so please leave. I will call the police for trespassing." I spat out those words and firmly drove the woman away. Justin intervened.
"What are you talking about? You're the one who should leave. Besides, just a while ago, I filed for divorce with you at the city hall. This house is going to be my new wife's, this girl's. It's a token of my love, a gift from me."
"Have you forgotten?" I retorted, and Justin asked,
"What are you talking about?"
"I haven't signed or stamped the divorce paper you handed me on Christmas. That's a crime of document forgery," I explained.
"That's an exaggeration, isn't it?"
Justin shrugged. "Well, I was planning to submit the divorce papers after New Year's since I wanted to discuss property division and alimony. But if you've already submitted them, there's nothing I can do. You're a stranger now, so please leave," I asserted. During my visit home at the end of the year, I had consulted my family about Justin's actions, and naturally, everyone advised me to end things quickly. Encouraged by their words, I had already decided to submit the divorce papers. I had intended to hire a lawyer after New Year's to discuss alimony and property division, and once everything was settled, I planned to ask Justin to leave. However, witnessing the scene of infidelity changed everything. It was truly unbelievable, and my sighs seemed never-ending. Moreover, have you forgotten that this house is in my name because I took out the loan and built it? Shall I show you the deed?" I challenged. Justin responded.
"Oh, I forgot."
While I had suspected that Justin had been lying about owning the house under his name from her remarks, realizing that he had genuinely forgotten it was in my name left me speechless and incredulous. The woman interjected.
"Wait a minute, didn't you say this house was in your name? And you claim to be single, yet you have a wife? What's going on?"
Seemingly changing her clothes in the meantime, she confronted my husband. It appeared that Justin had been lying to her, claiming he was single and that the house was under his name.
I just happened to forget about that."
"You can't just forget something like that. How dare you? I never intended for this to become an affair."
I'm sorry. I just wanted to impress you."
Sorry won't cut it. This is it. We're done today. I hate liars.
With that, she turned away from Justin in disgust. Then she turned towards me and said,
I'm truly sorry for everything. I had no idea you were his wife. Even though I didn't know, I still caused a lot of trouble, so I will definitely take responsibility for this. I'm truly sorry.
Her attitude changed completely from before, and she respectfully bowed to me, handing me her business card for work. Well, if you think your boyfriend's house is his own and his wife suddenly shows up, it's understandable to be shocked. I'll be in touch later, I said, and I let her leave.
I genuinely feel terrible about what I did. It was just a moment of weakness.
Do you really think that excuse will fly? You've always been forgetful, and I've always had to cover for you. But you've pushed me too far, and in the end, you betrayed me. I've had enough. I glared at Justin with a fierceness I'd never shown before. Perhaps it was terrifying enough that he clung to my feet, bowing and apologizing. Just like that woman said, sorry isn't enough. I don't need a careless man like you in my life anymore. You wanted a divorce, showing me the papers and all.
No, I thought if I showed you the divorce papers, you'd stop nagging at me. I thought you didn't want to be divorced by me. But you have never changed, so I filed. It's your fault.
Justin's condescending tone finally pushed me over the edge. Don't joke around. Divorce papers aren't something to use as a threat. Besides, I'm tired of taking care of your mess. If you understand, then get out now.
But I'll be in trouble.
I don't know about your inconvenience. Now, hurry up and leave.
I'll be in trouble. Let's give it another try. Please reconsider.
Ignoring Justin's desperate pleas, I forcefully ushered him out from the doorway. For a while, he kept crying out,
Please, open the door.
But I continued to ignore him until he eventually disappeared. Later on, I learned that Justin had returned to his parents' home. However, since I had already informed my parents-in-law about our divorce reasons, they refused to let Justin in their house. According to my parents-in-law, they disowned him, saying,
A man as careless as you is no longer our son.
And then, that girlfriend of his mistress promptly showed up on her own and said,
Here's the compensation.
And handed over cash. It turns out she was Justin's junior at work, recently transferred to the same department through a job rotation. After Justin paid me the compensation, I heard that he quit his job. Apparently, the woman consulted with her boss about the situation, and word got out. Justin, feeling uncomfortable, resigned as if to flee. I've heard he's moved to a distant town now. As for me, I put that unpleasant house with its memories up for sale and rented an apartment near my workplace. I couldn't stand the thought of living in the house used by my husband and his mistress. Fortunately, it sold for more than what I bought it for, allowing me to pay off the loan in one go. Now, I'm enjoying solo living in my new condo, cherishing fulfilling days with work and time with friends. I want to continue cherishing this peaceful life for the days to come.